Hello, boys and girls. Tune in to the end of the Language of Bromance podcast to listen into the Podbros Twisted Con of Terror as Richard and Shawn travel into the terrible convention that's full of fears and horrors. Make sure to check out all the other Podbros podcasts to get the full story. The 2017 Podbros Twisted Con of Terror.
What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we're speaking the language of scary mance.
This is Brolloween. This is Brolloween.
Oh my God.
Brolloween.
I'm not kidding.
Brolloween.
I'm not kidding. We've been talking for the last 20 minutes, and he's been jumping into that periodically throughout the last 20 minutes. So that's been my life for all the viewers at home. That's been my life. That's what I've had to experience. Also, Shawn, it's fall. It's fall time. You know what I'm drinking right now?
Pumpkin spice latte.
No, it's not. It's close. I'll tell you what. I love this as much as a white girl loves pumpkin spice latte. I'm drinking apple cider.
Yeah, I don't know if they don't give. Do they put that out year round? I always feel like I don't see it or don't think of it until fall, and they have it sitting right out there front street.
It seems like they put it out at fall. I don't know if they sell it year round. I would think that they do because apples.
Yeah, there's got to be bad apples. They got to cider up at some point.
Oh my God, I love apple cider so much.
I
love it because it let me go into my love of apple cider. This is when I say I'm like a white girl when it comes to pumpkin spice lattes. When it comes to apple cider for me, let me just it satisfies all of your senses. Apple cider satisfies every single sense. Like you look at it and it's that dark kind of like caramel color.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so you look at it and it looks like it's packed with there's flavor in it. Like you can visually see the flavor in it. Then you pull it up and you can smell it, and the whole thing just smells like you put it in your cup and it smells like apples. Oh, it's so good. And then you taste it and it's sweet. And it's sour, and it plays on your entire palate, wakes up your entire mouth. I love it. Love apple cider so much.
The shaking of the jug. You got the stuff all mixing together, and then when you pour it all over your body, you get the sensation of feel. It's all sticky.
Yes.
You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you spill a little bit on yourself, and then you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna rub that in, so that way I can have it with me for hours. I love apple cider so much. Do
you drink it cold most of the time or warm?
Yes, I drink it cold most of the time.
Most of the time.
I bought 3 gallons of cider yesterday, and my kids have had some, but we are now down to half a gallon or less. I'll probably finish it off while we do this show. But Shawn, I'm drinking cider because it's fall time, and according to your dumbass song, this is Brolloween.
Yes,
welcome, Brolloween.
We have a few staple episodes in our stable of episodes. We've got Hall LOB.
We have staples in our stables.
Yeah, you got to staple it in there because that's that way that people walk by and oh, those are staples.
I got staples in me stables.
We've got Brolloween, obviously. And we've also got our guy huddle at the end of the year. But this is the one where we try to scare each other in spooky stories. Previously, last year, I was in a hotel all by myself, and you tried to scare the shit out of me with hotel stories.
I did. Now you're at home, and I couldn't find anything for at home, which was kind of disappointing. I mean, I could find things, but nothing that I feel... See, at home... Right now, Shawn, if you get scared, what are you going to do? You're going to get up, you're going to run into the bedroom, and you're going to be like, honey, Richard scared me. And then you're going to curl up, and then Tiffany's going to be like, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. It's just
she's going to give you a phone call. She'll call you and bitch you out.
Yeah. Or she'll call my wife, and then my wife, then your wife will call my wife, and then my wife will get mad at me. She'd be like, don't scare Shawn like that anymore. I'm not getting another phone call.
Quit telling Shawn about the land sharks.
Sorry. But you're right. Last year, you were in a hotel all by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made it a point to find stories that took place in like creepy murders and shit like that happened in hotel rooms.
You know where I slept that night, Richard?
In the ice machine?
In the ice machine. In the manager's office.
The man. I was wondering because I got this weird phone call and it was a number I didn't recognize. That was the hotel manager, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was calling me to be
out.
like, listen, don't scare this poor man who's now under my desk.
I was like, oh, wow, I see it's late. I'm kind of, in the mood. And it's like, no, it's not what he was wanting to do.
No.
He was just scared. He curled up in a ball and cried. Have you ever seen a grown man with a beard cry? It's sad.
Yes, frequently.
Did you ask him about his mother and his love of country music?
Watching dreams shatter in front of your like watching a dream you have crumble in front of your eyes is very satisfying to me. I don't know what this says about me as a friend.
I don't know.
I think I do know what it says about me as a friend. I'm a bad friend.
All right, Richard. So for this Brolloween, do you have any stories you want to kick off with?
Okay. So I went with I have some stories that are just, kind of folklorish and whatnot. But I do have some, I kept some particularly, I decided to go with a little bit of a theme and I went with Hollywood.
Okay.
Like a Hollywood kind of theme. Okay. So one I have is the curse, not really the curse. It's relating to the movie known as The Omen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
this is the movie about the little kid who gets adopted, right?
He has yes, I believe so. He's adopted by, I want to say it's like an ambassador.
Yeah, it seems right.
So now there was a remake of this movie. I'm not talking about the remake. I'm talking about the original Omen. This was 1976. Okay.
Was this pre or post Exorcist?
I want to say post, because Exorcist, I think, was older.
Yeah, Exorcist was 73. So yeah, it was much older. So this was kind of off the heels of that craze.
Right. Okay. Directed by Richard Donner, who also did Superman. This is before Superman.
Give me that guy with the crazy kid. He's doing a good job.
Okay, so The Omen is a tale about the Antichrist being born and given to a wealthy American political family. It is most assuredly creepy enough as it is. Behind the scenes, however, the 3-month shoot, which began in October of 1975, so we're going back 32 years, was rife with happenings bizarre enough to make one wonder if someone in heaven simply didn't want the picture made. You ready? Here we go. Let's start with airplanes. On the way back and forth to England, separate flights of star Gregory Peck and producer Mace Newfield were struck by lightning. Huh?
Yeah, separate planes. That's not very cool. That's pretty coincidental.
Yeah. Separate planes struck by lightning, while producer Harvey Bernhardt's flight had a very near miss with a lightning bolt of its own. So almost 3 planes struck by lightning, and all of them held people that were making this movie. Another airplane.
How long was this? Was this within the same time period, or?
Well, this was all during the making of.
Oh, okay. So within 3 months of each other.
Right. Another airplane was chartered by the studio for aerial shots, but was switched at the last minute, and that plane was given to another party. The aerial shots were completed successfully in the replacement plane, while the intended plane crashed immediately upon takeoff, killing every person on board. So they bought a plane to do aerial shots for the movie, and then at the last minute, they're like, oh, we found this other plane, let's use that.
We found this better plane that isn't as shitty as this one.
So then whoever, I guess, got the first plane were like, oh, here we go. And they go to take off, and they just apparently just go.
This is Flight 666 getting ready for takeoff.
Yep, that's
all. Landing.
Those are pretty creepy coincidence, but the bad luck increased.
What?
The restaurant Newfield and Peck had reservations at in Ireland. Now remember, this is Ireland, 1975. The restaurant where they had reservations was bombed by the IRA. And for good measure, Newfield's hotel was then bombed by the same group.
So did they do the shooting in Ireland, or were they just...
I believe so. I believe they did. They probably did some shooting in Ireland because there's a lot of like rolling pastures and like in the movie.
That seems like kind of a shitty producer. Be like, yeah, we need to take, a quarter of this budget so we can get these shots in Ireland.
We also need to pay for security because apparently somebody wants me dead.
Hey, there's this guy named Say Tan calling.
Mr. Tan. Have a phone call from a Mr. Tan. Is he Japanese? I don't believe so.
He had a very deep, grovelly voice.
The animal handler for the film, so the guy that was supposed to take care of like all the animals and stuff that you see in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
He was attacked and then eaten by lions.
Oh, gee, were lions in that movie?
I think there's one scene in the movie. I haven't seen the movie in a while. There's one scene, if I remember right, that takes place at like it's a birthday party for Damien.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they do like, it's like a, because they're rich. They're supposed to be like rich people.
Yeah.
So I think they do this like big elaborate party.
Like, hey kids, look, a lion tamer.
Nom, nom, nom.
Yeah, because that's the part where like the maid or the nanny like climbs up to the top of the house and she's like, "It's all for you, Damien,"
and then jumps falls off,
hangs herself. That's a bad nanny. She isn't gonna get a 5-star on Nanny Yelp. She gets a nope in Nanny Nelp.
Yeah,
Nelp. We'll call it Nelp.
Yeah, let's call it Nelp. How many? She doesn't get a broom. She gets a rope. Okay, so the animal handler eaten by lions, like some scary rehash of feeding the Christians to the lions in ancient Rome. Stuntman Alf Joint's next film after The Omen was... So the stuntman for the movie, the film he did after this was A Bridge Too Far, on which he was to execute an impressive fall from a building for the camera. According to the stuntman himself, he was pushed by an unknown, never-found assailant too soon and crashed to the ground, breaking many bones and almost killing him. So I don't know if you want to attribute that to this one.
Yeah, or just some dick on set.
Yeah.
His understudy.
Yeah. Break a leg and 3 ribs and your tibia.
Hopefully your neck.
You bastard. I was supposed to be the nanny that jumped off the building.
That was going to be my big break. Get it? Break my neck. You'll laugh later.
In the hospital. Okay, if that sounds a bit like the creepy scene from The Omen in which Damien's nanny hung herself by jumping from a building, the oddities don't end there. That death scene was designed by effects artist John Richardson, who was also responsible for other myriad death scenes in this suspenseful film. David Warner's character's chilling and incredibly convincing decapitation scene behind a truck to Peck's character's shooting death on the steps of Guildford Cathedral. Like Joint, Richardson's next film was A Bridge Too Far, and Richardson wasn't lucky enough to avoid tragedy. So Richardson was the effects artist, and apparently he suffered an accident after the movie got made. In the next movie. So it was less than 2 months after The Omen's U.S. premiere, while traveling with companion Liz Moore in the Netherlands, that Richardson was in a major car accident. Moore was killed via decapitation.
Oh.
in front of Richardson's eyes in an impossibly similar way to the death in the movie.
So it's like somebody be like, look, this is your masterpiece.
It's all for you.
It's all for you, Richardson.
According to reports, though possibly apocryphal, a road sign at the scene of the accident indicated that the exact location was 66.6 kilometers away from the Netherlands city of Ommen.
Ommen?
Yeah,
that spells Omen.
Oh my god!
Oh goodness. That's creepy. I always wonder if like that stuff's exaggerated somehow or if that's actually like factual.
Yeah, who the fuck knows? If they're saying this accident happened 66.6 kilometers away. I'm like, who the fuck knows that?
No, I measured. It was actually 128 kilometers. But if you take in the wind factor,
I mean, that's as the crow flies.
Did you just write this for a blog? Yeah.
But that was 1976. What has the Omen...
76! That ends in a 6, Richard.
You know, if you take away 10 from that and then another 300 years, take away 310 years, Shawn, that's 1666.
The summer of love.
God damn it. Everything's a summer of love to you. It's October. They shot the film in October.
It could have been a warm summer.
No, October. Apple cider, October, pumpkin spice lattes.
Furry boots.
Furry boots. But that was 1976. What has the Omen done for urban legends lately? In 2008, a 39-year-old David Sycamore was shot dead by police while carrying what proved to be a fake gun. Sycamore, who was mentally ill, was shot in the right arm and the chest right outside of Guildford Cathedral, where Peck's Omen character was gunned down from the right side while holding a cache of strange weapons and was posthumously deemed insane.
In the movie?
So in 2008, which would have been, 32 years after the Omen, somebody dies in the same way that Gregory Peck's character dies while carrying what at the time is a fake gun, and he's crazy. In the movie, Gregory Peck dies holding a bunch of weapons, and in the movie, at that point in the plot, he's supposedly crazy.
Because he thinks his kid's the son of the devil.
Right. So there you go. I think that's everything on the Omen.
So do you think like they have a lot of that stuff for the Exorcist, but I know they've remade the Omen, and I didn't hear anything weird happening on set for that movie.
I don't recall anything too weird happen or anything weird at all happening on the set of the Omen either. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. So I don't know if that story is gonna make you not watch the Omen or maybe watch the Omen.
I've seen the remake.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm looking to see if they say anything about the one from the remake. Let's see. So during production of the Omen remake, director John Moore lost about 2 days worth of footage due to a broken camera. Sounds pretty normal, but Moore doesn't see it that way. He attributed the malfunction to an evil spirit because apparently the broken camera kept displaying the error message Air 666. When a repairman looked at the camera, he insisted that such an error message number doesn't exist. Maybe
that's kind of just like and then there was a hook on the door.
Yeah. That one's kind of silly. No wonder that movie didn't do well. Well, Richard, to bounce away from your Hollywood for a moment,
okay.
I was looking to figure out how to kill a vampire.
All right.
And this led me to an excerpt from a book by Lisa Ladors, which is basically of the same name. It's How to Kill a Vampire.
Okay.
So I know vampires is something that's been like known across the world. Like it's been in Europe, it's been in North America, it's been all over the places. And so the question like this is talking about in here is like, so how do you know where to find a vampire to kill, right?
Yeah, that'd be my question.
In the excerpt, they're talking about how to detect, and this is from a book, It doesn't give the year. I'm guessing it's pretty old, but it's from Don Calmet. And his book is The Treaty on the Apparitions of Spirits and Vampires. And this, Richard, is how you go and find a vampire to kill.
So wait a minute. Okay, so you're saying that now we're vampire hunters?
Yeah.
We're
vampire slayers.
Yeah.
In every generation, there are 2 podcasters. So this book says basically...
the chosen one.
You select a young lad who is a pure maiden. So this is basically... Oh, I'm sorry. So you select a young lad who is a pure maiden, put him on a young stallion who has not mounted his first mare.
Oh, God. So wait a minute. So the first thing so if I want to be a vampire hunter, the first thing I have to do is find a little boy and lead him off somewhere to put him on a horse.
I got to put you on this black horse. Don't worry about it.
And the first question I need to ask the little boy is, are you a virgin?
Are you a pure maiden? Oh, you are getting this van.
Why do I feel like vampire hunting is not a career I should pursue?
That's a good point. When you look at this being like the 1700s, they didn't really think about like how terrible the world would be at 200 years later.
Right.
So you put him on a young stallion.
I'm looking for vampires. It's okay.
So you put him on a young stallion who has not mounted his first mare. So basically it's got to be a virgin horse too. So virgin boy and a virgin horse.
So first thing I have to do. Okay. So wait. So task 1, find a little boy. Task number 2, make sure he's a virgin. Task number 3, take him to a petting zoo.
Yeah. And find a coal black without a speck of white virgin horse.
Oh, God.
Well, it's going to get better, Richard, because what you need to do then is you need to take that boy and that horse and you ride into a cemetery in and out among the graves. And if there is one that the horse refuses to pass, that is where the vampire lies.
Okay. All right. Sir, what are you doing with that child in the cemetery? We're looking for vampires.
Sir, can you come here, please? What's that in your... We found the kid.
This was the guy...
and the stolen horse.
This was that guy that was at the playground this afternoon. I'm trying to save the world from evil. It's each generation. Someone is born with the strength and skill to find little boys who will find vampires.
You're going to make a lot of friends in jail. You're going to make a lot of vampires happy in jail, sir. Oh, is that where they all are?
I knew it.
Duh.
Quick, let me borrow the kid for 5 minutes. We'll find him.
So in here, Richard says that vampires are commonly determined by birth, which I didn't realize. Like I always thought like people were made into vampires.
Well, I think it's it depends on where you talk to. It depends on what myth you go with. In some myths they're born, and then there's pure blood ones that are born vampires, and then those vampires make other vampires, and those are the half blood, like dirty vampires. And then in some, it's like, there's one vampire that was made, and then that vampire beget all the other vampires, and
Lost Boys style.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is kind of talking about like Greece, Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania is kind of theirs. And basically they say like redheaded children born with teeth were pretty much like, yeah, that Ginger's a vampire. And it says Ginger in here. It says Gingers were once seen as suspicious as a cult-obsessed British clergyman. Montagu Summers wrote in 1928 English transition of the 1486 Witch Hunting Manual. We're going to be witch hunters in this too, Richard.
I like the fact that you pointed out that the ginger thing is in the book. Be like, wait, before I go any further, this is in the book. I don't personally hate gingers. It's in the book.
They are vampires, or at least they're evil beings from the
So
Satan.
now we're going to be witch hunters according to what? What's the name of that book? The Malefice. Maleficarum.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's from 1486.
Yeah, it was a book that the Catholic Church wrote to give to quote unquote inquisitors that would scour the countryside, finding and destroying witches. But really what they ended up doing is like murdering a bunch of women over the course of like 400 years.
Was it 400 years? Because this
I
was
mean,
from 1486.
when you take the book was
yeah.
written in 1486. I mean, we really didn't. I mean, fuck, the Salem witch trials were in the mid 1600s.
So at least 200 years, 150 years. So multiple generations. Yeah, but in that book you're talking about, it says, those whose hair is red of a certain particular shade are unmistakably vampires. Not just any vampires either, Richard. They actually consider them descendants of Judas. Yeah, Judas from the Bible. They said that he was a vampire. And all the red-headed revenants are of his bloodline.
Yeah, because I
have heard of that
I
before.
saw Dracula 2000. It's Judas.
There's another movie where that's kind of based out of too, isn't it? Dusk Till Dawn. Isn't that how they state it too?
Oh fuck, I don't remember. Dusk Till Dawn, I don't think really went into the lore of the vampires. It was just kind of like, hey, it's a bar full of vampires, and Selma Hayek dances with a snake, and she's super hot.
Yeah, she has some big old boobies.
Did I tell you I met one of those dancers? Oh my god. Okay, so I'm surprised I haven't told you the story. So in the bar we worked at, there was a girl that I don't know how we got on the. I think the guy she was with said she was from around here and she was just, back visiting family or whatever, and said she was in movies. And I asked, I was like, what movies were you in? And she was like, well, and she named off a couple that I didn't know. She's like, oh yeah, in Dusk Till Dawn. I was like, you were in Dusk Till Dawn? I was like, who were you? She's like, I was one of the dancers on the. I was like, oh my God, you were a fucking vampire. That's amazing. I'm like, you were one of the dancers on like I guess, because I guess when they walk into the bar, there's Selma Hayek on the main stage, but then if you like up around the bar, like up on a ledge up towards the ceiling, there's a bunch of like ladies dancing around or whatever. I guess she was one of those.
Well, I didn't think Selma Hayek came out till like she was the main attraction, wasn't she?
Yeah. And she danced with a snake.
Yeah, and then she became a vampire and tried to bite people.
She didn't try to bite people. She bit fucking, what's his name? She bit Tarantino. Made Tarantino a vampire.
I always forget that he didn't make that movie. He just starred in it.
Yeah. Who was the made that movie? Robert Rodriguez made that movie. I just like the part where Selma Hayek, like, puts her toe in Tarantino's mouth and then pours beer down her chest and runs down her leg into his mouth. I was like, that is the sexiest thing I have ever seen.
It's the sexiest, grossest thing I've ever seen in my life.
My like 19-year-old body just screamed.
Every woman from that point on, you're like, will you put your foot in my mouth?
And pour beer down yourself? They all said no.
Until I found the woman I married.
Yeah. When I find one. That's my quest. The day I find a woman that does this, I wifed her.
So there's also there's what you come out with. So like if you have red hair and teeth, which is that common for kids to come out with teeth like as babies?
I don't know if it's common, but I know it happens.
Did you come out with teeth?
Not that I know of.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I thought your hair was a little red. You vampire.
Maybe I am.
I think of all the like folklore things, I think it'd be sweet to be a vampire.
See, I mean, I don't know. I think of I mean, if you're talking about like between all the movie monsters, what would you want to be? Would you want to be like a werewolf or a vampire? Yeah, I'd go with vampire. But I don't know, man. I think it depends on the vampire. Like I don't think I'd want to be a Dusk Till Dawn vampire. Like they didn't look that fantastic. Like they didn't, when you think like the vampire you're thinking of is this, sexy dude with long black hair that the windows open and then he comes in on a bank of mist with a long flowing cape.
I don't
think
he's
listening to Typo Negative and grabs a girl by the neck and bites her. Or like in my head, I'm thinking there's that vampire and then the other kind of vampire, which is what you see in like Blade, where it's just, this monstrous thing that bursts into a room and starts eating people's faces.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I think of as like the 30 Days a Night kind of vampires.
Yeah.
I think that'd still be badass. Live forever, eat people.
You live forever in Alaska.
Alaska's
Who wants
not that bad. You don't care if it's cold or not because you don't feel it.
I don't know. I get bored. Plus, vampire or not, still got to worry about bears. Yeah.
I mean, you just can't get your head bit off. And plus, you have super strength, so you could like tear the bear's heart out.
Fuck
and then
that.
make it
if
a vampire bear.
If a bear bites my arm off, it's not like I can grow the arm back. I mean, I'll live, but
in some lores they can. In Blade, they grew their arms back and stuff.
In the Buffy Vampire Slayer movie, Pee Wee Herman gets his arm chopped off. He doesn't get it grown back.
Well, I mean, we didn't give him enough time to grow it back. I think in the TV show, do they get their stuff back, or do they? I think they get their stuff back.
I didn't think they did.
I don't know. They never really touched on it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Anyway, vampires are cool. Suck it, Richard. So in Greece, I guess it's not so much about how you came into the world, but actually when you came into the world. So it states that children that were born between Christmas and the Epiphany of January 6th were considered to be doomed to be vampires. They were basically like this half-human, half-demon vampire with talons that lives in the underworld and comes back to Earth to tear its family members to pieces during the Christmas holiday.
Holy shit.
So really what they're saying, Richard, is like, listen, Christmas time is our time. Like, it's family time. And here, you spawn of Satan came and ruined it for us.
Yeah.
We were giving presents, and my water broke.
All I'm hearing is fuck the Capricorns. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
What sign are you? Capricorn? Oh, vampire. Vampire. My wife's a Capricorn.
I'm a Capricorn.
Oh, that's right. You are.
Yeah. When's your wife's birthday?
December 23rd.
Oh. Mine's January 11th. So we're both right on the cusp.
Yeah. You're both half. You're halvesies.
It's debatable.
You're almost vampires.
So other rumored potential vampires include the illegitimate children of illegitimately born parents. So it's like, if you're a bastard of a bastard, you're a vampire.
So if you're a bastard of a bastard, what if you're just a bastard?
Well, then you're okay. But if you're a bastard of a bastard, then you're fucked. They also said, I didn't really think this, I always heard this more of like in mythical, like awesome powers. But it said if you're the seventh son of a seventh son.
Is that from, is that a Japanese thing? Or I'm thinking of the movie Seventh Son. Was that even about sons? I think it's, I mean, I've always heard like if you're the seventh son of a seventh son, it's supposed to be like some kind of mythical, like good power. Because one of the guys we played D&D with, his character was the seventh son of a seventh son. How do you know?
Well, I mean, if your dad is the seventh son, and then you're his seventh son, then you're a seventh son.
I was thinking in terms of like a family tree thing. I'm like, so every 49th child is... No,
not that.
See, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, you'd have to be... So your dad would have to be the seventh son. So your grandpa would have had to have 6 kids, and then your dad would have been the 7th, and then your dad would have had to have 6 kids, and then you would be the 7th.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a lot of...
A whole lot of banging going on.
Yeah, a whole lot of kids. But this is like the early days, so like that's all they did. They fought vampires.
Okay, but wait a minute. What if, okay, let's say, Shawn, hypothetically, you're the 7th son of the 7th son, but you're a ginger. Then what?
Well, with this, what they're saying is that
then you're a daywalker. I walk between worlds.
Well, in this, they said the 7th sons were bad. Like, you could be a vampire with being that way, which is kind of odd. Like, I've always heard it like in the good, like positive.
Oh, so if you were a ginger, then that's 2 strikes. Well, like,
yeah,
we're definitely killing you first.
Yeah, you're definitely a vampire.
So the day after Christmas, they're like, let's kill all the babies. Start with the redheaded ones. That's what they did. So you don't want to admit it, but that's what they did.
It's just interesting to think about. Like, that's probably actually a conversation that happened. Susie, we just had 6 kids. We're about to have our 7th son. I'm a 7th son.
That's something we could totally talk about. I'll put it in a scrapbook.
Yeah, and it comes out and it's like a ginger on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Day after Christmas. Like, oh God, kill it. Kill it with fire. Doctor's like, why? It's a ginger. I know, I know a trifecta, right? Like it's a it's a double whammy. It's trifecta, and it's in that crazy period between Christmas and January 6th, but I'm sure it's fine. No, you don't understand. He's the 7th son, and I'm a 7th son. Oh, God, it's a trifecta. Kill it with fire.
It's all over. Be like, no, it's okay. Just, when his birthday rolls around, just spend an extra $10 and be like, this is for your birthday and Christmas.
Oh, that sucks. That is definitely That's probably why they did. It's like, we can't afford 2 presents.
I only have so many gift cards.
That's what sucks about being in that time frame, though. And I'm sure your wife gets it. It's like, at least with your wife, at least it's pre-Christmas, so you might get a little bit.
Oh, dude, I always make it a point to buy separate gifts because I'm sure her life has been riddled with somebody that spent like $5 extra.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, this is for both.
Well, my thing is, so like Christmas happens, and so like everybody's like pumped for Christmas, and it's New Year's, so everybody's kind of pumped for New Year's. But around like January, like 8th, 9th, 10th, like people are partied out. It's like, okay, we had Christmas, we had New Year's, we're getting ready to go back to school. And here I come like, hey, my birthday's tomorrow. Let's have one more party. It's like, fuck you, Shawn. We
fuck
gotta go
your
back
party.
To school. Yeah, exactly.
I heard when you were born, you were a ginger.
You dye your hair, you vampire.
Kill him.
Kill him with fire. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting excerpt from her book, and I kind of want to read it, but it's interesting that these conversations legitimately probably happened back in the day. And we don't talk about vampires too much around Halloween time, but I feel like it's kind of one of those monsters that belong in the Halloween time frame.
I would totally agree. I love me a good vampire story.
There hasn't been one for a while either.
No, I can't really think of the last decent vampire story. I wouldn't say that the Underworld movies count.
The first one was really good.
First one was really good.
Second one wasn't terrible.
Plus, it had what's her name in it. Well, what's her name's been in all of them.
Yeah, she's been in all of them. She's in that tight bodysuit.
She looks awesome with that big old long coat, shooting people in the face.
Yeah, I wish they would come. Like the whole lore behind vampires is always so interesting because you have like different factions around the world supposedly, and like each one runs their own kind of thing. And the Underworld had a pretty cool idea where like they only raise like one king at a time because they don't want a power struggle.
Like the world of John Wick, but it's vampires.
Oh yes, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, it'd be badass.
John Wick vampires. Maybe that's what the third one's about.
Maybe that is the third one. They make him a vampire at the end. And then they have a whole new trilogy of movies.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like a vampire hitman.
It's a crossover. It's Underworld Wick. And Kate Beckinsale shows up at the end. She's like, here, use these guns. It's like, we're killing werewolves. Pop, 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 pop. I'd go see that movie.
I definitely, dude, you just sold me a ticket. Okay, Shawn. So you were talking about vampires, and that was kind of serious. I couldn't really find anything too serious. So I got you this, and I think you'll like it. So I'd like to introduce you to the country of Malaysia.
Okay.
Specifically, a ghost in Malaysia. And the ghost is called the Hantu Tek Tek.
Okay.
Okay. So the name is commonly translated. You ready? You're going to love this. The name is commonly translated as the breast ghost.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Right? It's like, the breast ghost.
Boo! Buh. Oh, you got me again, boob ghost.
So, as you may have guessed, these female spirits have an impossibly humongous rack.
They're the, they're the Pamela Anderson of Ghost, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, but not really so much anymore. She had a reduction.
Well, who's like the big boob? Dolly Parton.
Know.
They're the Dolly Parton.
Yes, she's the Dolly Parton of the ghost world. As you may have guessed, these female spirits have an impossibly humongous rack, and their entire shtick is to float around, smothering attractive and virile young men with their ectoplasmic fun bags.
Well, unfortunately, we're safe, but that would be a way to go.
So that is their whole thing, is they're like, oh, come here, I'm going to give you a hug. So death by motorboat. That's what it is. It's death by motorboat.
First, it starts out funny, like, oh, this is the... He died like he wanted to live.
I regret nothing.
That's the one, like, you want somebody to walk in. And, like, next time we're staying together at the hotel, like, I walk in, like, you're like getting smothered. I'm like, no, I pull you apart, and you're like, what the fuck? This is my moment, Shawn. You write this on my tombstone. Get back here, boob witch.
Get pictures. Put it on Ghost Hunters. Oh my God, that would be. See, everybody would tune into that episode of Ghost Hunters. All of a sudden, there's a chick that with ginormous ass tits that just like shoves people's heads inside her cleavage, and then floats around with their heads trapped inside.
Do you think the reason they do that, like they float, because it's like, you know, when women with bigger bosoms are in water, they float. And so like the ghosts are trying to reduce their bosoms so they can get back on Earth.
Maybe.
What causes them?
I'd like to think.
What causes these big boob ghosts?
These
are all the women that got plastic surgery.
I'm not sure. Let's see. While you might think that doesn't sound like a bad way to go, put away those Ouija boards, gentlemen, because this one just gets weirder. First of all, the spook is said to be a hideously obese old hag.
Well, that's just teasing. I don't know.
Right?
Sometimes you're in the mood. You just flip on and say, okay, old hag erotica.
But I'm saying, like, how do you know they're even breasts at that point?
Yeah, that's true.
So now you've gone from being trapped inside a woman's cleavage to being stuck inside somebody's fat roll.
Oh, just like high school.
I got the girl left at the end of the party. Okay, Ray. Okay, here's it gets worse, Ray. And her triple Z cup namesakes are on her back.
How does that work?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to see that picture. So now
I'm looking it up anyway.
So now, Shawn, I want you to picture your picture of her has done a rapid change from now you've gone from Pamela Anderson to, I don't know, the cow at movies.
Well, that's the bad thing is like you're on your Ouija board trying to get this to come up, and it's like it's the total like worst blind ghost date ever.
Yeah, it's like a Tinder date gone wrong. Yeah. You're calling up the ghost on the Ouija board, and you didn't read the whole story. You just got to.
Yep. You read the headline.
Yeah, you were like, "Oh my God, there's a ghost with huge ass tits," and I could be smothered him. And then you call her on the Ouija board, and then she shows up, and then you're like, "Hey, oh no!
Oh, I didn't read the fine print.
Damn it!
Well, if this is the way I deserve this. I deserve this."
This is my lot in life. He died how he lived.
Not reading the fine print.
It seems the Hantu Tek has been appropriated in Malaysia as a kind of boogeyman story to keep children in line, which would totally work for me. My parents were like, "Listen, if you keep acting up and you keep, giving your parents shit and skipping school, then a huge fat old ghost lady with gigantic tits on her back is going to come and smother you to death." I'd be like, "Ah!
I'll be good, I swear."
As a version of the story has the ghost hunting down kids who stray too far or stay out too late and wrapping them up in her titties so no one will ever find them again.
What does she do with them? Does she just take their bodies away, or
I guess,
or she just drag them around like trophies?
We all float in cleavage down here.
Booby wise.
Yeah, that would be my fear. God damn, that would suck.
I think anytime you would have a ghost come and see you, that would be creepy as hell.
Yeah, I would think so.
I think we talked. Have you ever had a weird experience like that?
Have I ever had a ghost experience?
Yeah,
I think so. I've told this story.
Well, you told the Ouija board story last year, I think.
No, the story about the person that I think the time I think I saw a ghost when I was at the place I worked at.
Yeah, you told that one last year, where you worked in the kitchen or something like that.
Yeah. See, we don't need to rehash things. This isn't a repeat.
I know you get scared. It's okay.
I do. It's frightening. I was all by myself.
Hey, Richard, what's that behind you?
Don't do that. Kids are asleep. I'm all alone in the house. Wife's not here. I don't have anybody's bed to jump into when this podcast is over. I mean, I have mine, but there's nobody in it.
Except this weird old lady with big boobs.
But they're on her back. You know what? Honestly, though, I mean, think about it. You know, boobs on her back, like all the good stuff's on the backside, right?
Yeah, that's true. Wait, what?
Well, I'm just saying, you know, like if she's on her stomach, then we'll move on.
Rich, I think you're going to get visited by a ghost tonight. It's like, oh, I hear you've been talking some shit about my back.
I
You know, this isn't as bad as I thought it would be. Wait till Shawn reads the obituary.
He died how he wanted to live. So, Shawn, that's the long and the short of the Hanu Tech.
Okay. Well, Richard, to find, do you have any more stories? Is that your last one?
I could have some others, but go ahead and give me one.
Okay. I've got 10 nightmare-inducing legends from Central South America.
Okay.
And they're all pretty small, like tidbits on it.
Okay.
So from Chile, Richard, we have the Wekufe, Wekufe. So the name is derived from the Mapui word for people who are deceptive. The people had no concept of deception or evil up until the first Catholic mission arrived, which is around the same time that this Wekufe began showing up. So that's kind of interesting in its own. It's just like they had no like concept of good or evil until religion showed up.
That makes sense.
So a Wekufe is both a physical being and a ghostly apparition, able to alternate between both forms. These creatures often take on an animal form, enslaving the souls of the dead. They also take pleasure in spreading diseases and killing people.
Oh, shit.
Which is kind of like what you basically, like you think, like when, you know, people from Britain and stuff came to America, they kind of, you know, spread diseases and killed people.
Yeah.
So Wekufe probably translate to, yeah, it's people who are deceptive. So it probably just transfers to the British.
With their flags.
So from Venezuela, we have a Silbon. So it's the ghost of a young man who was murdered by his father. El Silbon was punished for this crime by being whipped by his grandfather. He was then tossed into a cage with rabid-hungry dogs, Game of Thrones style.
Oh, shit.
Now
I have never hated anyone more than I hate Ramsay Bolton. And you're telling me that there is a ghost version of Ramsay Bolton?
Yeah, pretty much. This is Ghost Ramsay. So now he wanders the earth, ragged and bloody, forced to carry his dead father's bone, whistling an eerie tune as he walks. It doesn't sound like he does anything bad. He's just like whistling the Cats in the Cradle song.
Crap.
When you coming home, Dad? Don't know when.
Oh,
we're
no.
gonna together then. Laura! Even in death, he's annoying.
God damn it.
Just put my
Why
bones
couldn't
to
we
rest.
get the big-breasted ghost, Laura? I know they're on her back, but I mean, a boob's a boob. I'm just saying.
So from Chile, we have the Embuche. So El Embuche was a deformed child sold to a group of warlocks. The warlocks went to work transforming the child into a monster. The first thing they did was slice his tongue so it was forked. Then they dislocated his limbs and turned his head backwards. Finally, they cut open his right shoulder, placed its right foot into the wound, and then sewed it shut. So this is kind of like Caterpillar. Or, what was that movie? Centipede.
Human
Except for one
Centipede.
person. Once his transformation was complete, he was given the job of guarding the entrance to the Warlock's cave. He was also tasked with carrying out revenge against anyone who crossed the Warlocks.
Oh shit. See, if I was, you know, like, so this is what the shit you would drag me into. You'd be like, Richard, we're witch hunters. I mean, the vampire hunter thing didn't work out, and we're finally out on parole, and we have to register with the state. But now we're witch hunters, so let's go into this warlock's cave. And then we walk in there, and then first thing I see is a fucking human centipede. I'm like, nope, no,
no, Richard, it's an embuche. We can train it. Hey, Richard.
No, you had me. I followed you into the playground to find the kid to put on the horse at the petting zoo, and you know how that turned out. And now you're wanting me to fight the human centipede, and I'm not doing it. I'm not getting sewn ass to mouth with
Richard, there's no bad
because you know what they do?
embuches.
They'd make me the middle piece. I'd be the middle piece, Shawn. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be the middle piece. I refuse.
I'm the middle piece.
You can be the middle piece.
Richard, there's no bad umbuches. There's just bad umbuche owners.
The middle piece.
So in Guatemala, Richard, there's a cadejo. So these sound really familiar. So these are ferocious black dogs with fiery red eyes that stalk the streets of Guatemala hunting young maidens. But don't worry too much. If you're good and virtuous, a white dog will rush in to protect. But if you're a bad person, well, you're about to find out what a chew toy feels like. That kind of sounds like hellhounds.
Yeah, it does.
Make a deal with the devil.
Are they invisible like in Supernatural?
No, these don't say they are.
Oh.
I'm curious about the white dog rushing in to protect you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Seems like that's a 50-50 kind of thing. Let's see. So back in Colombia, there's a tunda. So during the 16th century, 23 slaves escaped their captors and began fighting their way across South America, searching for freedom. It is said they fought so fiercely that the devil was awoken by the screams of their victims. Not much of a morning person, the devil slaughtered the slaves. It's like, hey, fuckers, you woke me up.
You sons of bitches.
Like, I'm impressed that,
I haven't had coffee yet.
I'm impressed that the screams of your victims could wake me up. That takes a lot, but still, I don't get up before noon.
Yeah, I haven't had coffee yet. And this is Colombia. So,
yeah,
I mean, that's totally doable.
Fuckers.
But bitches.
He slaughtered all the slaves, but also fell in love with one of the women. So this is a love tale that I've heard numerous times. So the two had several children together. For sharing her bed with the devil, she was rewarded by being transformed into a shapeshifter who could turn herself into any child's mother. She could use this power to lure children into the forest where she would feast on them. Ugh.
Nah, shit.
So she's kind of like Pennywise.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally does.
Time to float.
And we all know what would happen. She would transform into like Pamela Anderson and be like, "Come into the woods."
Yeah, it's like you're not my mom, but you have big boobies.
Right? That would totally have lured in, 13, 12-year-old Richard into the woods.
Yeah. Back in the early 90s.
Big boobs. Do 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 do.
Hey, look, Pamela, I'm going to run slow. Do do do.
Do 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 do.
So in Argentina,
some people say, I'll be ready. I'll be there. Wherever you feel
I totally forgot about that song until you queued it up.
You're welcome.
So in Argentina, there's an El Familiar. The El Familiar is the devil in snake form. As the legend goes, he was summoned by a mill owner. In exchange for the continual success of the mill, El Familiar is allowed to eat one mill employee each year. Talk about some crap job security.
I don't believe that story, because if I was a mill owner and I summoned the devil for a deal, I'd be like, look, I don't want to be a mill owner.
Yeah. I want to be a billionaire.
Can I have any job but this? That is the deal I am willing to make.
And he's like, okay, I'm going to turn you into a embuche for the warlocks. No!
Not the middle piece!
All right, let's see. So in Nicaragua, we have the Carrot Nogua. So in Nicaragua, death is a white skeleton sitting atop a large cart pulled by two skeletonized steers, dragging behind them the bones of slaves.
Damn.
They say you'll know when death is coming for you when you hear the sound of chains rattling down the streets. This is kind of like their version of death, except it's in like a carriage.
That's fucking metal.
Yeah.
Here comes the death carriage, man, death carriage, man.
These steers don't have these steers don't have muscles. There's in Dominican Republic, they have a Chicapua, which is a magical witch. The La Chicapua is a long-haired naked woman who walks with her feet facing backwards. So this is kind of like the breast woman, except the only thing odd about her is her feet.
Right. And she's not an obese old hag.
Yeah. So she lures men into the woods with promises of sex, but in actuality, just ends up ripping them to shreds. I always feel like that'd be kind of a shitty way to go. It's like, oh, I got this raging bow. Ow, 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 ow.
Yep.
Aww. I guess the succubus.
That would be our luck. That's how that would fan out.
Well, I think these are all stories about like trying to, teach married men not to cheat because something bad's going to happen.
Well, I mean, isn't that always I think that the lessons that you're hearing here are hey, don't have promiscuous sex,
Yeah.
which ironically is the same lessons that you would see in modern horror.
That's true.
Hey, don't have promiscuous sex. I mean, if that's got to be one of the lessons we learned from Scream, right? The virgin survives.
Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
Stranger Things.
Well,
actually, Stranger Things is the reverse of it.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it.
God. Spoilers.
So I got two more. So in Chile again, we got El Coco. So walking the streets at night while carrying a bag over his shoulder, El Coco searches for mischievous children. He tosses the children in his bag so he can take them back to his home, where he slices them open and drinks their blood.
Okay,
so if they're virgins, he puts them on a horse and fights vampires.
That doesn't sound very intimidating. That's like the devil in Rocko's Modern Life. Be like, I am El Coco. Fear the wrath of El Coco.
It's like, oh, you're going to eat me? It's like, no, I only eat mischievous children. It's like, oh, okay, well, my kids aren't dicks, so we'll be fine. All right, and the last one is unknown, and it's La Llorona. So Maria fell in love with a Spanish gentleman and bore him 3 children. But then this gentleman returned to Spain and married another woman. Dun, dun, dun.
That's where it all went wrong.
Distraught, Maria threw herself and her 3 kids into a river where they all drowned. That's sad.
Yeah.
Maria was cursed for her crime by being transformed into La Llorona, and ghostly apparition trapped between earth and the spirit world, continually weeping for her dead children. La Llorona deals with her grief by kidnapping children who resemble her own.
Yeah.
That was kind of bad. I didn't know that.
And then what?
I don't know. She gives them a bunch of candy, then takes them home. All right, here's all this candy.
You remind me of my little boy.
Eat all this candy. Go back. This is the best thing ever. Like, I take you and I get to spoil you, then I can just send you back home
on a sugar high.
Damn you, La Llorona. I have to work tomorrow.
Have some Mountain Dew! Yay! No, La Llorona!
La Llorona is the best babysitter ever.
Damn her.
So, Richard, there's a few legends from Central South America.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I feel like I'm gonna. Okay. So am I the closer? Am I closing the show here?
Yeah. Give us a closing.
Okay. So going back to my tragic or creepy things in Hollywood, Shawn, I'm gonna talk to you about another movie that was supposedly cursed. Okay.
Cursed.
Yeah.
Lobster.
Too dry. The strange and tragic events surrounding the Poltergeist series. Okay. So the Poltergeist series was 6 years over 3 movies. So we're talking about production, and this is over the course of 3 films. Poltergeist is the story of the Freeling family, mom, dad, and 3 kids, whose idyllic suburban life is first disturbed by playful ghosts and then turned into a supernatural living hell. The urban legend of the Poltergeist curse would have you believe that a series of untimely deaths have befallen many of those involved in the production. While it's true that the off-screen tragedies linked to Poltergeist are terribly sad, the truth is not quite the actor-consuming biblical plague that the rumors make it out to be. The oldest of the 3 kids, Dana, was played by Dominique Dunne, whose career was picking up speed fast by the release of 1982's Poltergeist. She had already been cast in the miniseries V, which I remember that. It was a good show.
I haven't seen the original. I saw the remake.
Oh, yeah. The original was pretty good. When her abusive ex-boyfriend, John Sweeney, paid her a visit on her front porch, struck and strangled her to death. He was convicted of voluntary manslaughter, but was paroled after less than 4 years in prison. There's no denying how terrible this crime is, especially considering Dunn's young age and promising career, but the next 2 cursed deaths are much harder to call untimely. Poltergeist 2: The Other Side put a name and a face on, quote, the beast from the first film. The name was Henry Kane, and the face was that of actor Julian Beck, decked out in a black hat and suit. Beck had experienced a long career before he was cast as the second film's villain that many point to his death in 1985 as further proof of the curse. However, one of many people who were unsurprised by Beck's death was Julian Beck himself. Beck had been diagnosed with stomach cancer 2 years before his death and a long time before he even accepted the role. Unless one of, quote, the beast's many powers happens to be time travel. Beck's death at the age of 60, they're saying was unrelated, but it's another death. So Kane's counterpoint in the second film was Carol Ann's protector, Taylor the Medicine Man, and this was played by actor Will Sampson. He underwent a lung transplant in 1987 at age of 53 and died of kidney failure and malnutrition as a result of the operation.
Oh, geez. That seems like some malpractice suit.
Right? I mean, I understand like a lung transplant in 87 was probably like super difficult, but fuck, malnutrition?
Yeah, it seems like... Oh, what about that guy at the end of the hall? Oh, we forgot about him.
Okay. But what about Carol Ann Freeling? Actress Heather O'Rourke was discovered by Steven Spielberg himself, who subsequently cast her in the terrifying haunted house film he wrote and produced.
Did Steven Spielberg produce that?
I think he did. I think he did the first Poltergeist. Yeah,
maybe that's why his career took off. He sold his soul for that movie.
Maybe. Well, let's see. Poltergeist was in 82.
I guess that would have been post Jaws
and post. Well, E.T. was 81, right? Fuck, I don't remember. She went on to play Carol Ann in all 3 films, but only lived to see the premiere of 2 of them. She was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in January of 88, and she died of septic shock during surgery on February of that year, brought on by a congenital intestinal issue. She was 12. 12 years old. Poltergeist 3, the last film in the series, was released in June of that year. So they're saying that the movie's cursed because all these people died.
Well, I think in that movie, too, I thought I heard that some of the skeletons and stuff that they used were like actual skeletons, like human skeletons.
Yeah, I think I heard that, too.
Wasn't Ted Danes in that movie? He's doing well.
I don't remember.
No, Craig T. Nelson. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, I gotcha. Fucking crazy.
What does that teach us? Just not going to Hollywood and stay away from Central South America.
Don't be an actor. Stay away from South America. And if there's a guy in a playground looking for a little boy, there's a fair chance he might be a vampire hunter.
All right, Richard. Well, for this Brolloween episode, do you have any Richard's closing thoughts?
The world is a weird and crazy place. And sometimes there's, guys trying to pick up little boys in a playground to hunt vampires. And sometimes there's a large fat woman with gigantic breasts on her back that's looking to smother you to death. And sometimes you walk into a cave and there's a human centipede.
It's a magical world we live in.
It's a madhouse. A madhouse.
All right, well, let me do a little bit of haunted housekeeping. Visit our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter. We're at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Check out the LOB Army intelligence reports. Like us on Facebook. And go out and recruit somebody for the LOB Army by getting someone you know to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or Stitcher.
And when you were on all of those lovely places, make sure you give us a rating and leave a review. Well, not make sure. I always feel like I'm forcing it. You don't have to leave a rating and a review, but we totally appreciate any sort of rating and review you do, because those ratings and reviews help keep us in the good standing that we so have with iTunes. I'm
just going to say that if you don't, there's probably going to be a big-breasted woman coming to your house tonight.
Well, don't do that, because then nobody will do it.
No, if they don't leave one, that's what's going to happen.
Yes, if you don't leave one, then a giant-breasted ghost won't show up at your house.
Yeah, that's the only way to keep it from happening. All right, well, and you can always check us out on the Podbros Network.
Because it's the apple cider of podcast networks.
And if you want, you can throw a little money in our Patreon jar. So Richard and I can go to a few haunted houses this Halloween and get some more apple cider. Just go to www.patreon.com/language of bromance.
Oh, it's so good.
All right. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
No. We're shutting the doors on this Halloween special.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat the beaver. We all eat the beaver down here.
Oh, God, that's probably on her back, too. Look, all I'm saying is that they should invest a little more money into this place. Can't just have D's falling down on people. The only time you should be slinging D's is around a Chippendale show, am I right? Am I right? Huh?
Oh, yeah, you're like, Chippendale. Chippendale. What?
Okay, so you know that there's a Chippendales and then there's a Chippendales Rescue Rangers, right?
What do you mean? What's the difference?
Well, one is a cartoon about little rodents that save other animals, and the other one is a show where dudes dressed as firemen strut on stage for horny middle-aged women.
Well, no, but my mom said she went to see Chippendales live all the time. I asked her, she's like, hey, Chippendales live. I'm like, I want to go, but she just never would take me.
Yeah, I think that's for the best. I think that you're confused enough. Anyway, good news is we're able to get some food before the D fell on the concession stand.
It was a total cluster after that. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of that classic scary movie where like all the kids died one after another.
Oh, you mean Final Destination?
No, Leprechaun 2. Scary, it's really scary being chased by the dude off the cereal box. If you think about it, it's probably more of a conspiracy with the cosplayers trying to take out all these podcasters.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You know what you need to do? You need to run by Heather's and grab one of those tinfoil hats.
We've been talking about this, but that gives me a great idea for a bumper to do at the beginning of our episode. We could do one like the X-Files style.
Oh, that sounds amazing. We could totally do that. Look, I know it pains me to say this, but I do think that I would be Scully and you would be Mulder because, you're the dreamer and I'm, the realist.
That's the sweetest thing anyone's ever said to me in a men's restroom. Richard, stop.
Please don't hug me in front of the men's restroom.
No, look, someone left the Podbros Tascam recorder on the ground.
It's weird that someone would just leave the Podbros recorder here in front of the bathroom of all places. I mean, don't they have any respect for the sanctity of the Podbros recorder? Bunch of savages in this town.
I mean, probably just, somebody needed to get a drink and it fell out of their bag or their pocket. Oh, I bet we could record the X-Files bumper on the Podbros recorder. Oh, I heard that one guy that played the aliens on there, he's supposed to be here. Maybe we could have him be a guest on the bumper.
Oh, we could be like, oh, Shawn, you don't have any facts to prove that they're aliens. And then you could be like, Richard, the truth is out there.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Like when we did the Star Wars thing, we can hum the background music. Be like, bum, 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 bum.
Shawn, no, stop. Okay, wait, whoa. What are you doing? That's the theme for Law and Order. The X-Files goes like,
that doesn't sound right. Are you sure it's not? Bum, 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 ba, na, 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 na.
No.
What?
Shawn, that's Dallas. That's the show Dallas. How long have we been friends and you do not know the theme of the X-Files? Listen to me. I am telling you. It goes like...
No, I don't think that's it. Richard, you okay? Richard! Oh, God, Richard! Oh, no! I knew we should have got the convention sushi special, but tuna roll sounded so delicious. Curse you, exotic convention cuisine.